Welcome to the Shekina Meditation Podcast, created by Shekina community members. Shekina communities are dedicated to creating free devotional spaces of Christian practice for spiritual seekers and travelers around the world. We post Christ-centered guided meditation each week to help you in your personal or small group practice. You can find episode show notes and other information at shekinacommunity.com.
Hello, this is Ro.
And this is Ray.
And it's week 56 of our little podcast. It's Sunday the 24th of November as we record this. And we're standing at the back of the beautiful food forest, at the back of our property at Shekina Garden after community lunch.
Talking to a kitty that has come to visit us.
Hey, kitty.
Feels good to be back here again, Ro.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks that we haven't done the intro together. So
That's right.
feels
I've
good.
missed it.
Listeners, this podcast is supported by you. Because this podcast is about meditation, we want to keep it ad-free. Our beloved patrons at patreon.com support us for as little as $1 a month, and patrons get extra audio every month. You can find us at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast. And another way you can support us is by rating or reviewing us on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
You could also email the podcast to a friend.
You could.
You could take out one of those sky banners about the podcast if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yep.
And paint it on the side of a building.
Tattoo it across your face. No, don't do that. Don't ever do that.
Oh, okay.
Terrible.
I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that.
Because, and the reason we're telling you this is because supporting this podcast helps us with what we do every day, which is making these kind of communities free and available for travelers and spiritual seekers around Asia, around the world.
So if you're a patron, you helped to feed soup to like 60, 70 people today.
Today, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And cake and chai. And you paid for the electricity bill and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It's helping us so much.
Yeah.
You're the best.
You're the best. I love you, patrons. You're like glorious fields of golden sunflowers.
We are in this time of year where they're like everywhere. They're on the sides of the road. They're these, like, not the big sunflowers. Some people call them Mexican sunflowers. I can never remember what the Thai name is for them.
I've seen some in photos from our friends who are in Guatemala at the moment. They're blooming down there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's the time of year when they come out and they're glorious. Yellow, yellow, yellow.
So gorgeous.
So, what's been going on, Ro?
Well, we had a fantastic adventure day yesterday.
We did.
As a community. We took a trip out to a little village called Muang Noi, which is, I think it's only about 30 kilometers away, but
Yeah.
it takes like an hour and a half to drive there because the road is so bad.
Yeah.
It's up over the mountains, kind of northeast from where we are here. And we visited, this little village that we've been connected with for a few years now, that we have been able to help out with some building projects there. So when we have benefit nights at the garden, we're usually trying to find a family who could be supported by that money, and a lot of those folks live in that village.
Yeah.
So it was so lovely to go and meet some of those people who we haven't met before and see the extensions or homes that have been renovated from that money, and just see what's been able to be achieved out there. It was really lovely.
Yeah. And they kind of wanted to, like, make the visit really worth it by having us teach a little bit of English at school, and so we suddenly were just playing games and with the kids and trying to teach a little bit.
That was lovely.
Tiny bits, just spending time together. And it was super fun.
Yeah.
So beautiful out there.
Yeah, it's an absolutely stunning area, wasn't it? And just great to be connected with those guys and continue that beautiful connection that we just appreciate a lot.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we hear that Thursday there was a really epic gardening day with lots of love being given to the food forest.
Which is looking amazing back here.
Yeah.
You'd hardly know there was a flood like 2 months ago, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Crazy.
You would really hardly know. Like, this land bounces back so quickly, and there's been so much good work put into it. So yeah, there's some banana circles were made, and it looks like some mulching and taking all the debris out from between the trees and stuff like that.
Loads of that, and just kind of brush cutting back a whole bunch of the crazy stuff that was getting out of control back here, and just looks gorgeous. Everything's full of life.
Well, today's episode is a Lectio Divina on Psalm 91, verses 1 to 7, and guided for the very first time on this podcast by our friend Scion, or he's also known as Mark. He's a dear friend, and it was recorded here in Shekina Garden in Pai, Thailand. The meditation will have 3 parts as normal. First, Mark will guide you through some exercises to help you find quiet, a nice calm space in your mind. Then he will lead you through the verses, and he's kind of gone to the original language and provided like a bit of a paraphrase in each way. Like he simplified it, looked into it. So it's a really playful and fun way of looking at this verse that goes deeply into the original language of the text.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then the third part of the meditation is for reflection and processing. So you might like to journal some thoughts if you're listening to the podcast and meditating by yourself. Or if you're meditating in a group, you might like to pass a talking stick or another object around the circle and give each person an opportunity to share from their experience, just listening well to each other, not interrupting or correcting, but letting each person share. Let's begin.
All right, welcome to Shekina Garden. We're gonna start. Shekina Garden is a Christ-centered devotional community, which means we're devotees of Yeshua, which in English is Jesus. But whatever your spiritual path might be, or wherever you are on that journey, you're definitely welcome here. So thanks for coming. Today's meditation will be from a passage from the Old Testament of Scripture. So it's very old, written by, I believe, King David, who was a warrior and a musician and many things. So it's a song or a poem, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Bathrooms, if you need, are right here. And yeah, during this meditation, we're not super strict on staying upright or still the whole time, so feel free to shift as your body is comfortable, and if you need to get up or lie down, you're welcome to do that, although we don't always recommend lying down because you might fall asleep, so. So I invite you to go ahead and, at least at first, have a straight back and begin to notice your breath. Today's meditation will have 3 parts. The first part is what we've already begun to do now, which is to tune into our breathing and to begin to relax our bodies. Begin to notice our thoughts. After this time, the second part will be, I will read from this ancient sacred text. It's a somewhat short section, but I'll be reading through it several times. And there will be moments of silence and space in between. And during that silence, you are invited to allow the divine to speak to you. And at the end, we will have a time where we get to talk, pass around the talking stick, and if you're comfortable to share your experience, that will be a time to do so. But for now, let's just focus on our breathing. I find it helpful to breathe in through my nose Focusing on my belly, filling up with air, and then out through my mouth. And you're welcome to make an audible sigh that tells your whole body that it's okay to relax. As you continue to breathe, begin to notice the sensation of your breath on your nostrils. The sensation of the air around us, on our skin. And with each exhale, you can invite your body to relax even more. If you like, you can imagine with each inhale that you're drawing air in through the top of your head. And as you exhale, sending it out the back of your head. Or waking up the middle of our brains. And as you continue to breathe, you might like to begin to notice the sounds around us. Some of them quite close, other sounds in the distance. Some of these sounds are natural sounds. Some are sounds of humans and village life. You might enjoy briefly trying to focus on which sound is the farthest away. And which sound is the closest. And as we continue to breathe, different thoughts may come and go. We've all come here this morning from somewhere different. And we've all got some plans of what we will do in the future with our day. And we're going to notice these thoughts, see them for what they are, and as you continue to breathe, you might like to imagine in front of you a piece of fabric, or a cloth, or a shawl, maybe some Thai silk. Or maybe an image that works better for you is just a bowl in front of you. And as we continue to breathe, and as we continue to notice the different thoughts in our mind, you might like to imagine just placing those thoughts for now on the cloth in front of you or in the bowl in front of you. And this is a way to collect our thoughts and set them aside to better focus on the meditation. So when you feel that your thoughts and maybe distracting emotions, even anything that you'd like to set aside, you're invited to take that bowl or take that fabric and gather it together and just set it behind you for now. And all those thoughts will still be there if you'd like to revisit them. And again, you're invited to return to your breath. You might like to check in with your body. How is it feeling today? You're invited to move and adjust your posture. And as you continue to breathe, to send oxygen to any parts of your body that might feel stiff or sore. And as we return to our breath and to the sounds around us, you're invited to be kind to yourself today. Meditation is a practice of returning. And if you find yourself drifting off, that's okay. Be kind to yourself. And just practice returning to this space of breathing and resting. This morning, we create a quiet space of expectation. And in your own space, in your own way, you may wish to take this time to invite the divine to speak to you, to invite the divine to show you something, or simply to have a heart posture of openness or expectation. And as I begin to read from this portion of sacred text, you're invited to ask the divine to speak to you, or to simply take notice of something that is highlighted to you. Those who dwell in the secret place of the Most High will rest under the shadow of the Almighty One. I will say this of the Divine: you are my refuge and my fortress. You are my God, and I will trust in you. Surely the Most High will save you from every trap and from the deadly plague. The Divine will cover you with its feathers, and under her wings you will take refuge. The truth of God will be your shield, and you will not be afraid of the terror by night, and you will not be afraid of the arrow that flies by day, or of any evil that comes against you at night. Nor any destruction at midday. A thousand may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near to you. For this second reading, I will leave more space in between. And I invite you again to look and to listen for what the divine might be saying to you. You might want to notice what images come up for you. You might want to focus on a particular phrase, or to specifically ask the divine to show something to you. Or you might simply want to hold space and openness for whatever comes. The original language of this sacred text uses a non-gender specific word. So I'll be using he and she and it in reference to the divine. And in an effort to be true to the original intention. As we welcome the divine to speak to us for this second reading. Those who dwell in the secret place of the Most High will rest under the shadow of the Almighty One. Those who dwell in the secret place of the Most High will rest under the shadow of the Almighty One. I will say this of the divine: you are my refuge and my fortress. You are my God, and I trust in you. I will say this of the divine: you are my refuge and my fortress. You are my God, and I will trust in you. Surely the Most High will save you from every trap, even from the deadly plague. Surely the Most High will save you from every trap, even from the deadly plague. She will cover you with her feathers, and under her wings you will take refuge. She will cover you with her feathers, and under her wings you will take refuge. The truth that comes from the divine will be a shield for you. The truth that comes from the divine will be a shield for you. You will not be afraid of the terror by night. You will not be afraid of the arrow that flies in the daytime. You will not be afraid of the sickness that walks in the darkness, or of any destruction. You will not be afraid of the terror at night, or of the arrow that flies in the day, or of the sickness that walks in darkness, or of any destruction. You will not be afraid. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near to you. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near to you. As we continue to breathe, I will read through the passage once more, with less space in between. And you are invited to just allow the words to wash over you. And to remain open to anything that the Divine would show you from these words. It may be a picture, there may be a phrase that stands out to you. It may be a sensation or a color. In whatever form it takes, we welcome that voice. Those who dwell in the secret place of the Most High will rest under the shadow of the Almighty One. Those who dwell in the secret place of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty One. I will say this of the Divine: you are my refuge, you are my fortress, you are my God, and I trust you. I will say this of the Divine: you are my refuge, and you are my fortress. You are my God, and I trust you. Surely the Holy One will save you from every trap, and even from the deadly plague. Surely the Holy One will save you from every trap, and even from the deadly plague. She will cover you with her feathers, and under her wings you will take refuge. She will cover you with her feathers, and under her wings you will take refuge. The truth from God will be a shield for you. The truth from God will be a shield for you. You will not be afraid of the terror by night. You will not be afraid of the arrow that flies by day. You will not be afraid of the terror by night. You will not be afraid of the arrow that flies by day. You will not be afraid of the sickness that walks in the darkness, and you will not be afraid of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. You will not be afraid of the sickness that walks in the darkness, and you will not be afraid of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. A 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near to you. As we continue to breathe and observe what the Divine may have spoken to us through these words. And as we continue to breathe and take note of what may have resonated, you might like to take this time to offer back a response to the Divine, if you feel you want to do so in your own way. Or perhaps this is simply a time for you to acknowledge something significant that you experienced during this time. And as we continue to breathe, I invite you at your own pace to begin to become aware of the physical space around you. Welcome you to once more feel the air on your skin. Feel the solidness of the ground below you. And at your own pace, as you continue to breathe, become aware once more of this circle. And in your own timing, returning to the here and now. And whenever you're ready, to allow your eyes to open.
Thank you for joining today. There will be a new guided meditation available each week, so don't forget to subscribe to iTunes or sign up for our newsletter to get podcasts delivered to your inbox at www.shekinacommunity.com/podcast newsletter. Also, you can rate or review on iTunes or sign up as a patron at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast. Have a beautiful week. Many blessings to you.